My friends, life has a way of testing us when we least expect it. There are moments when the darkness seems too deep, when the road feels too long, and when every door we knock on seems to close right in front of us. But remember this, it is in the darkest night that the stars shine the brightest. When life seems hopeless, it is not the end of the story, it's simply the beginning of a transformation. Hope is not the absence of struggle. It is the courage to believe that something good can still come out of the chaos. It is the strength to whisper, I will try again tomorrow, even when everything inside you screams, give up. You see, hope is not something we wait for. It is something we build, one thought, one action, and one prayer at a time. When you feel lost, pause for a moment. Don't panic. Breathe. The same God, the same universe that guided you through your past storms will not abandon you now. Every trial you face is shaping you into the person you are meant to become. Every setback is not a punishment, but a preparation for what's coming next. We often pray for an easier life, but perhaps what we truly need is the strength to endure a difficult one. Hope grows when we stop asking, why me? And start saying, what can I learn from this? That shift in perspective changes everything. Remember, every seed must go through darkness before it can sprout. Every caterpillar must go through the cocoon before it can fly. And every human heart must break a little before it learns how to love again, trust again, and hope again. So in your hopeless times, don't quit. Instead, lift your eyes. Reach within. The light you are looking for is not outside you. It's within you, waiting to be rediscovered Hope is not about ignoring the pain. It's about believing there's purpose in it. Let your struggles build you, not break you. Let your failures teach you, not define you. And let your faith remind you that every ending is just the start of something new. Because one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the very season that tried to destroy you was the same one that taught you how to shine. Hope is built, not found. It is not something that falls from the sky or suddenly appears in our hearts when life gets tough. It is something we create piece by piece, moment by moment, through our choices, actions, and mindset. Many people wait for hope to come before they act. But the truth is, hope often comes after we take the first step. It is like walking through a dark tunnel. You may not see the light at the end, but each step forward gets you closer to it. The light does not move toward you, you move toward the light. Building hope begins with the small things. When you wake up and decide to face another day, despite feeling tired of everything, that is hope in action. When you smile even though your heart is heavy, you are building hope. When you choose to try one more time after countless failures, that is not weakness, it is the foundation of hope being laid within you. Hope is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about believing that things can be fine even when they are not right now. Think about the people who inspire you most. They are not the ones who had an easy life. They are the ones who faced storms but refused to be defeated by them. They built their hope in the fire of challenges. Just like a muscle grows stronger through resistance, hope grows stronger when life pushes against us. Each time we fall but decide to rise again, we make our hope unshakable. There will be moments when you feel empty, when your faith fades, and when the weight of life feels unbearable. During those times, do not wait for a miracle to happen outside of you. Start building one within you. Hope is not built in a day, it is built in the small, silent moments of resilience. When you refuse to give up, when you choose to believe that your story is not over, when you keep walking even though you can't yet see the destination. Our thoughts shape our hope. The more we focus on what's wrong, the heavier life feels. But when we shift our attention toward gratitude, toward the things still working, we start to feel the spark of hope again. Gratitude is like oxygen for hope. It keeps it alive even when everything else feels suffocating. Every small blessing, every small victory, every small act of kindness can rebuild the hope we thought we had lost. Hope also grows when we help others find theirs. When we lift someone up, when we speak life into another person's darkness, we often discover that our own hope becomes stronger. That's the magic of giving. When we give hope, we receive it back multiplied. Life becomes meaningful when we stop waiting for better days and start creating them with what we have. No matter how broken or uncertain things may seem, you still have the power to rebuild. You may not be able to control the situation, but you can control your response to it. And in that response, in that decision to keep believing, to keep trying, to keep showing up, you are building a bridge from despair to strength. Hope is not a gift you receive. It is a masterpiece you construct with patience, courage, and faith. And every time you choose to move forward despite fear, you add another stone to that bridge, leading you closer to the light that never truly went away. Darkness reveals the stars. It's often when life feels the most difficult, when everything seems uncertain and empty, that our true strength and potential begin to shine. We all love the bright, joyful seasons of life, the times when everything feels right and peaceful. But it's in the nights of struggle, when hope seems lost and confusion surrounds us, that we discover what we are truly made of. The truth is, without the dark, we would never appreciate the light. Without pain, we would never value peace. Without loss, we would never learn the meaning of gratitude. When everything around us is going wrong, it's easy to think that the darkness is a sign of failure or punishment. But sometimes, darkness is not there to destroy us, it's there to teach us. Just as the stars only appear when the sun sets, our inner light, our wisdom, our resilience, and our courage often appear when life pushes us into moments of discomfort. These moments force us to look inward, to search for the light that cannot be taken away. We begin to realize that happiness built on external circumstances fades, but peace built on inner strength endures even through storms. when you are in a dark season, it's tempting to complain, to question, to lose faith. But if you look deeper you'll find that the very darkness you fear may be guiding you toward your greatest transformation. Think of a seed buried underground. It sits in darkness, unseen, and yet is in that very space where growth begins. Without that period of hidden struggle, it can never sprout into a tree. In the same way, your darkest times are not signs of defeat. They are moments of preparation. Life is working silently beneath the surface to help you rise stronger, wiser and brighter than before. Sometimes the darkness also teaches us empathy. When we go through pain, we begin to understand others who suffer. We become more gentle, more patient, more human. That's why people who have walked through storms often become the ones who carry light for others. They shine not because they never faced darkness, but because they learned how to glow in spite of it. Darkness also gives us perspective. When everything is easy, we often forget to appreciate the blessings we have. But when we experience loss or hardship, suddenly the simple things, a smile, a sunrise, a kind word, feel precious again. The contrast between dark and light reminds us of life's beauty and fragility. It teaches us that even when everything feels lost, there is still something worth holding on to, something still shining quietly in the background, waiting for us to notice. And sometimes, the stars we discover in our dark nights are not found outside, but within. It might be a strength you didn't know you had, a patience you didn't think possible, or a faith that surprises even you. The light you see in others has always existed in you too. It's just that the dark moments help you see it more clearly. So when life feels dark, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it, breathe through it, and trust that even in your pain, something beautiful is forming. The night may be long, but it's not endless. And when dawn finally breaks, you'll realize that the stars that guided you through the night were your own inner strength, courage, and hope shining quietly all along, waiting for the darkness to reveal them. Trials shape character. Every challenge, every setback, every disappointment has a purpose far greater than we can often see in the moment. Life doesn't hand us struggles to break us. It gives them to mold us into the people we are meant to become. The truth is, comfort may make life easier, but it rarely makes us stronger. Growth comes from friction, and wisdom is born from experience, especially the painful ones. It's through the trials we face that we discover patience, humility, courage, and empathy. When life feels unfair, when everything seems to be falling apart, it's natural to ask, why me? But if we look deeper, we realize that each trial is like fire that purifies gold. The heat is uncomfortable, even painful, but it burns away what is unnecessary, leaving behind something pure and stronger. Similarly, the storms we go through refine us. They strip away pride, fear, and false beliefs, teaching us to rely not on what we have, but on who we are. Think about a diamond. It begins as a simple piece of carbon. it takes years of intense pressure and heat for that carbon to transform into something radiant and unbreakable. Without that process, it would remain ordinary. The same is true for us. The pressures of life don't come to destroy us. They come to transform us into the best versions of ourselves. Every test has a lesson. Every hardship has hidden wisdom, and every tear carries the seed of strength. Trials also reveal what truly matters. When life is easy, we often take people and blessings for granted. But when we face loss or struggle, our priorities shift. We start valuing kindness over status, peace over possessions, and love over success. Our trials remind us of the beauty of simple things. A hug, a kind word, a helping hand in thee. They soften our hearts and make us more compassionate toward others, because pain has a way of connecting us to the humanity we all share. It's easy to be grateful when life is smooth, but the real test of character is how we respond when it's not. Some people become bitter through their pain, while others become better. The difference lies in perspective. When we see trials as opportunities to grow rather than punishments to endure, we rise above them. The person who learns to smile in struggle, to stay kind under pressure, and to keep faith when nothing makes sense, such a person develops an inner strength that no storm can destroy. Sometimes our trials also prepare us for what we've prayed for. We ask for strength, and life gives us challenges to make us strong. We ask for wisdom, and life gives us problems to solve. We ask for patience, and life gives us delays and disappointments. The answers to our prayers often come wrapped in difficulties, not because the universe is cruel, but because it knows we must grow into the person capable of receiving the blessing. In the end, our trials become our teachers, shaping us into people of depth and resilience. We stop asking for an easy path and start asking for the strength to walk a difficult one. And when we finally look back, we realize that those very moments we once prayed would end were the ones that built our character, strengthened our faith, and revealed the best version of who we truly are. Shift from, why me, to, what can I learn? A small change in perspective that can completely transform the way we experience pain, failure, and hardship. Life will always have moments that test us, moments that don't make sense, and times when it feels like the world is unfair. The natural human response is to question, to feel hurt, and to wonder why these things are happening. But asking, why me, keeps us trapped in victimhood, focused only on the problem. It drains our energy and blinds us to the lessons that life is trying to teach us. The moment we shift that question to, what can I learn from this? Everything changes. Our pain begins to serve a purpose, and our suffering becomes a stepping stone toward growth. When we ask, why me? We see the world through the lens of frustration. We start believing that life is against us, that the universe is unfair, or that we are somehow cursed. This mindset doesn't just deepen our sadness, it blocks our ability to heal and move forward. But the moment we start asking, What is this situation trying to teach me? We reclaim our power. We stop being victims of our circumstances and become students of life. Every hardship becomes a classroom, and every mistake becomes a teacher. Life is not punishing us, it's preparing us. Sometimes the lesson is patience, learning to wait without losing hope. Sometimes it's humility, realizing that we don't have control over everything. And sometimes the lesson is strength, understanding that we are far more resilient than we ever imagined. Every painful experience carries wisdom, but we can only receive it when we are willing to open our hearts and learn instead of complain. When we start viewing challenges as opportunities for growth, the pain doesn't disappear, but it becomes meaningful. It becomes fuel for transformation. There are countless stories of people who went through unimaginable hardship only to later realize that those experiences shaped their destiny. The person who lost a job discovered their true calling. The one who faced heartbreak learned self-worth. The one who experienced failure found creativity and innovation they didn't know existed. The moment they stopped asking, "Why did this happen?" and started asking, "What is this teaching me?" their entire life direction shifted. Growth begins when blame ends. Even in everyday life, this shift in mindset brings peace. When something doesn't go as planned, instead of saying, "Why is this happening to me?" we can say, "What is this moment revealing about me?" Maybe it's showing us impatience, fear, or pride. Maybe it's teaching us trust, surrender, or resilience. Life constantly mirrors our inner state, and challenges are often placed before us to reveal the parts of ourselves that still need healing. This shift is not easy. It requires maturity and self-awareness. It means taking responsibility for our reactions instead of blaming the world. But once we practice it, we start finding peace even in chaos. The problem may remain, but our heart feels lighter because we're no longer resisting life. We're learning from it. The truth is, life's most painful lessons often become our greatest sources of wisdom. The questions we ask during difficult times determine the direction of our healing. "Why me?" keeps us stuck in the past, but "what can I learn?" moves us toward the future. When we embrace this mindset, no experience is ever wasted, no pain is meaningless, and no struggle is in vain. Every challenge becomes a teacher guiding us closer to our true strength, purpose, and peace. Growth requires discomfort. It's one of the hardest truths to accept, yet one of the most important lessons we can ever learn. We all wish for success, happiness, and peace, but very few are willing to go through the uncomfortable process that leads there. Growth never happens in comfort zones. It begins the moment we step beyond what feels easy, familiar, and safe. Just like a seed must crack open before it can sprout, or a butterfly must struggle out of its cocoon before it can fly, we too must go through periods of discomfort before we can become who we are truly meant to be. We often pray for growth, but resist the very experiences that create it. We want patience, but avoid situations that test our temper. We want courage, but run from fear. We want strength, but hide from challenges. The truth is, you cannot develop a quality without being placed in a situation that demands it. Life gives us discomfort not to punish us, but to stretch us, to push us to evolve beyond our current limits. Growth is not about adding more comfort. It's about expanding your capacity to handle discomfort with grace. Every great person you admire has walked through discomfort. The most compassionate hearts were once broken, the strongest souls were once tested, and the most peaceful minds were once restless. Discomfort is the sculptor that shapes our character. It strips away arrogance, teaches humility, and builds endurance. Without struggle, there would be no strength. Without pressure, there would be no diamond. Without fire, there would be no purity in gold. Every time life puts us through something difficult, it is not to destroy us, but to reveal what we are capable of enduring. It's easy to stay where we are, to cling to routines, people, and habits that make us feel safe. But comfort zones are silent prisons. They keep us small while convincing us that we are fine. The problem is, nothing truly extraordinary grows in comfort. The people who achieve inner peace, purpose, or greatness are the ones who dared to be uncomfortable for a while. They faced rejection, failure, uncertainty, and pain, but they didn't let it stop them. They allowed discomfort to be their teacher rather than their enemy. When we start to see discomfort as a sign of growth, everything changes. The pain we feel from stepping into something new becomes a symbol of transformation. Think of it like working out in a gym. The muscle only grows when it is challenged, when it is stretched and torn slightly. The soreness that follows is not a sign of damage but of development. Life works the same way. The emotional pain we feel when we take risks or make difficult decisions is often the stretching required for growth. Discomfort also humbles us. It reminds us that we are not in control of everything and teaches us to rely on faith, perseverance, and resilience. When we go through struggles, we begin to appreciate what we once took for granted. We start valuing peace more deeply, relationships more sincerely, and success more gratefully. Discomfort opens our eyes to what truly matters. So when life feels uncomfortable, when change hurts, when the road feels uncertain, remember that you are in the process of becoming. The discomfort you feel today is preparing you for the peace you will experience tomorrow. Growth may be painful, but staying the same is even more painful in the long run. Every challenge you face is an invitation to rise higher, to shed the old version of yourself, and to step into the stronger, wiser, and braver version waiting to emerge. Faith sustains hope. When everything around us seems uncertain, when the path ahead is foggy, and when we can no longer see a way forward, it is faith that keeps the flame of hope alive within us. Faith is not about having all the answers, it is about trusting that even without them, everything will unfold exactly as it should. It's the quiet confidence that Even when life feels chaotic, there is still order behind the scenes. Faith whispers, hold on, when the world shouts, give up. It's the invisible strength that allows us to move forward when logic tells us to stop. When we have faith, we stop depending solely on our own understanding. We realize that there is a greater plan at work, one that we may not always see or comprehend in the moment. Life doesn't always make sense, but faith teaches us to trust the process. It reminds us that what feels like a detour might actually be the path that leads us exactly where we're meant to be. There are times when doors close, opportunities vanish, and people walk away, but faith teaches us that not every loss is a curse. Some are blessings in disguise, clearing the path for something better. Faith and hope are like twins. They walk hand in hand. Hope says, things will get better. And faith says, I believe it, even when I can't see it. Hope is the vision of a brighter tomorrow, and faith is the strength that carries us through the darkness until that tomorrow arrives. Without faith, hope becomes fragile. It flickers and fades in the winds of doubt. But with faith, even the smallest spark of hope becomes unbreakable. When life brings us to our knees, faith gives us the courage to rise again. It's easy to trust when everything is going well. But real faith shows its power when nothing seems to make sense. It's in those silent moments, when prayers seem unanswered and the heart feels weary, that faith quietly holds us together. It tells us that the delay is not denial, that the silence is not abandonment, and that the storm will not last forever. Faith also teaches patience in there. We live in a world that wants instant results, but some of the best things in life take time. A tree doesn't grow overnight, nor does healing happen instantly. Faith helps us wait, not passively, but with purpose. It turns waiting into growing, silence into reflection, and uncertainty into trust. The person who lives with faith doesn't panic when things fall apart, because they know that even broken pieces can be reshaped into something beautiful. There are moments in life when faith will be all you have left, and that's enough. Because when everything else fails, when plans collapse, people leave, and strength fades, faith still stands. It's not just believing in something higher, it's believing that you are never alone, that your pain has purpose, and that your journey has meaning, even when you don't understand it. Faith sustains hope because it gives us the courage to face what we cannot change and the peace to trust what we cannot see. It reminds us that the same hand that created the stars also guides our lives. And even when we walk through the valley, faith tells us that light is waiting at the end of the path. It is that deep inner knowing that storms may come, but they will pass. The night may fall, but the sun will rise again. Faith doesn't remove our struggles. It strengthens our hearts to endure them with grace, patience, and unshakable hope. Inner peace begins with acceptance. So often, we struggle not because of what is happening to us, but because we are fighting against it. We resist reality trying to change things we cannot control, and in that resistance, we create our own suffering. Acceptance does not mean giving up or settling for less. It means choosing to face life as it is, without denial, anger, or fear. It is the quiet understanding that peace is not the absence of chaos, but the ability to remain calm within it. True serenity is found not when life becomes perfect, but when we learn to make peace with its imperfections. When we resist what life presents, we exhaust ourselves emotionally. We replay the past, worrying about how things could have been different, or we fear the future, imagining everything that could go wrong. But neither of these paths leads to peace. The present moment, the here and now, is the only place where peace can truly exist. Acceptance invites us to live in this moment fully. It tells us, yes, this is happening. I may not like it, but I will meet it with courage instead of fear. That shift from resistance to acceptance opens the door to calmness. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop striving for better. It simply means you stop fighting with what is. It's understanding that some things cannot be changed, and trying to control them only leads to frustration. Instead, we can choose to focus our energy on what can be changed. Our mindset, our reactions, and our attitude. Life may not always go as planned, but peace comes when we stop demanding that it must. The person who accepts reality, he gains freedom from unnecessary pain, because they are no longer caught in the battle of wishing things were different. Think about how nature accepts its seasons. The trees don't complain when leaves fall in autumn. They let go gracefully, trusting that new life will bloom again in spring. In the same way, we must learn to let go of the seasons of our lives, of people who leave, of opportunities that fade, of moments that don't return. Holding on to what has already passed only blocks the beauty that is waiting ahead. Acceptance is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the understanding that life flows in cycles, and peace comes from learning to flow with it rather than against it. Acceptance also brings healing. When we stop denying our pain, we can finally begin to process it. When we stop pretending to be fine, we allow ourselves to truly grow. Sometimes we think peace means avoiding emotions, but real peace means embracing them without being consumed by them. It means saying, I am hurt, but I will heal. I am disappointed, but I will rise again. Acceptance allows us to honor our feelings without being controlled by them. So much of life's beauty unfolds when we stop trying to control every outcome. The more we resist, the more we suffer. But when we accept, something inside us relaxes. We begin to trust the flow of life, to believe that what's meant for us will never miss us, and what's not meant for us will gently fade away. Acceptance turns worry into trust, chaos into clarity, and pain into peace. It teaches us that we cannot always choose what happens, but we can always choose how we respond. And when our response is rooted in acceptance, we find an unshakable calm that no storm can take away. Surround yourself with light. The people you spend time with the thoughts you entertain, and the environment you live in all shape the way you see the world. When life gets dark, when hope starts to fade, it's not enough to wish for positivity. You must create it around you. The company you keep either drains your energy or fuels your spirit. The voices you listen to either fill you with fear or remind you of your strength. To build hope in hopeless times, you must become intentional about the light you allow into your life, because that light will be the force that guides you through the darkness. Every person carries an energy. Some bring peace, encouragement, and warmth, while others carry bitterness, negativity, and chaos. It's not about judging people, but about protecting your spirit. When you surround yourself with those who believe in you, who speak words of life and faith, your own hope begins to grow stronger. Their light becomes a reflection of your own. Just as a candle can light another without losing its flame, the presence of kind, positive souls can reignite your inner glow. But the same way, spending too much time with people who constantly complain, gossip, or spread doubt can slowly dim your spirit. Protecting your peace is not selfish. It's necessary. The same principle applies to your thoughts. What you allow to live in your mind determines the atmosphere of your heart. When negative thoughts dominate your mind, they cast shadows on your hope. But when you feed your mind with gratitude, prayer, and inspiration, your heart begins to feel lighter. Read books that uplift you. Listen to words that strengthen your faith. And speak affirmations that remind you of your worth. Light is not only external, it's also something you must nurture within. When your inner world is filled with faith and love, no amount of external darkness can overpower it. Even your surroundings matter. Create spaces that bring you peace. It could be a corner where you pray, write, read, or simply sit in silence. It could be nature, in thee, where you feel connected to something greater than yourself. The more time you spend in places that radiate calm and positivity, the easier it becomes to return to that state when life gets overwhelming. Your environment silently shapes your emotions, so make it one that supports your growth and inner strength. Spreading light to others also multiplies your own. When you comfort someone in pain, when you encourage a friend, or simply smile at a stranger, you create ripples of hope that often come back to you. Light shared is never lost, it expands. Sometimes the quickest way to lift your spirit is to lift someone else's. In helping others find hope, you often rediscover your own. But remember, being surrounded by light doesn't mean avoiding darkness. It means choosing not to let it consume you. Life will always have difficult moments, but you can choose to focus on what is good, pure, and meaningful even amidst pain. Surrounding yourself with light means setting boundaries, nurturing your soul, and staying close to those who remind you of your purpose. Hope grows stronger when it stands in the company of love, faith, and kindness. The people and thoughts that surround you are like mirrors. If you look into light, you will reflect it. If you look into darkness, you will absorb it. Choose light every day, even in small ways, because each act of positivity adds a little more brightness to your journey. And when the night feels too long, that very light, born from gratitude, connection, and compassion, will be the reason you can still find your way forward.